What's up, everybody, and welcome to Greater Than. Today is Confrontation Day. Nah, I'm kidding. Today is a special day because I want to talk about something and some things that have been in my heart. Pretty much from the time that I started planning this trip to Ghana and to help the people of the Abuno village. And it's been through the interactions with people that I've had, organizations, and especially other believers that has led me to believe that character is one of the clearest and strongest signs that we have as believers. Let me explain to you why. I've been confronted by this very hard because I've always thought of myself as a good, loving Christian. And honestly, my life has not always reflected that, in the sense that not always my yes has been yes and my no has been no. And there's been times that I've had friends in need that maybe need or want to speak to me, or I've faced different situations that I don't want to confront just because I don't want to deal with them. Now, when I used to work at the bank, and I used to train tellers and things like that, there was one thing that they always said to us, and it was perception. Perception, because when you walk into a bank, the first person and probably the only person you're gonna have an interaction with is going to be a teller. And sometimes out of everybody that works at a bank, that's the only person they're going to see. And that's the person they see more frequently. For us as believers, we may be the only people or the only believers that other people encounter. We may be the only people that people have interaction with more often, and that's when our character reflects. When I look at this, it comes down to simple things. It's not about how much Bible we know. It's not about how much we know, how many verses we can memorize. It doesn't matter how good your prayers sound. It doesn't matter how holy you think you are. But what it boils down to is when there's a friend in need, when there's someone that needs, or when our character needs to be in display, is our character showing the character of Christ in our life. And I've been drawn to the idea of how God may look at this, because I firmly believe that from the beginning, God has been wanting to shape our character and the characters of all the people that we see in the Bible. We have the examples of people like Adam, who's given a task and that defines his character. David, Moses, all the people and all the heroes of the Bible that we see are people who are constantly being challenged in their character, and their character is what defines what they're able to accomplish in their walk with God. And that made me think a lot, because God, it's in God's interest. It's in God's interest for character to be developed. Okay, so we know that the Bible talks about the fruit of the Spirit. It talks about joy, patience, and all these other things I can't even memorize. But I found a couple verses in 2 Peter. Let me see. I got it right here in my Bible. It's in 2 Peter chapter 1, and I'm going to read it to you guys because I think it's very important that it talks about, hey, the character that God is looking for. And it goes like this, and I'm going to look down for a second. It says, for this very reason, make every effort to supplement your faith with virtue, or we can use the word excellence, and virtue or excellence with knowledge, and knowledge with self-control, and self-control with steadfastness, and steadfastness with godliness, and godliness with brotherly affection, and brotherly affection with love. If these qualities are yours and are increasing, they keep you from being ineffective and unfruitful in the knowledge of our Lord Jesus Christ. And our character is defined by how much we can reflect Jesus in our lives. Part of our walk with God is to identify areas that need growth and areas that we need to be better at. You know, sometimes these are areas that need more concentration than other, but are also areas that sometimes are going to show up in our daily lives. One of the things that I come to identify is that people are going to judge us, and people are going to judge you based on your action and your reactions. Not so much about how much knowledge you have of the Bible, how many services you go to church at week, or how good you can pray. People really care about is the people that are actually going to show up when they need them the most. The easiest people to be ignored and overlooked are family and close friends. How about we start with them? How about we show them the character that's in you that speaks your faith? Does that faith compares to the character of Christ? And I think the biggest question that we have to ask ourselves today is, are we willing to let God work in our character to take out the best in us so we can show and actually be there for people who need it the most? And with that said, I want to leave you guys thinking for this week. Let your actions speak louder than your words and your promises. Let people know that you are there for them, and let your character speak for your faith rather than speaking faith and not going through with what you've said. Thank you so much for watching this video. See you next week with a new one. And remember to join the movement to reach the least of these by He who is greater than.